Where'd you put the snacks, Bob? They have raisins and they have peanuts, but they don't have peanuts with raisins.
Oh, peanuts with the raisins.
That's what my snack.
That'll be delightful on the microphone. Still have water? No, I'm good, thank you.
Good evening. Welcome to the April 19th, 2021 Valley View School Board meeting. Would ask everyone to silence their phones and rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Vice President Zach. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Board affirmation statement. Member Perro, if you would please.
Our mission is to empower all learners to be college, career, and life-ready, and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Superintendent Kinder, agenda.
Yes, sir. We'd like to ask that you approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Student and staff recognition, teacher spotlight. Mr. Michael Fogarty, Lukansick Middle School Band Director.
Yes, thank you. Tonight, we'd like to showcase another one of our amazing staff members. Mr. Fogarty is the middle school band director here at Lukansick Middle School, and you will see a brilliant showcase of just how creative, innovative, and hardworking our staff are. So I'm pleased to present to you Mr. Michael Fogarty.
I started piano lessons as a kid just before I went into middle school. And then when I got into middle school and I was a student of Gene Matsui's at when it was Westview and then was AVM, and became an oboe player under him, it just kind of all synthesized. And I don't know, it's something that I really gravitated towards, and it all made sense to me. I can speak to teaching these students is that when you can foster them to have success with something, they're going to enjoy it more, they're going to want to stick with it, they're going to want to keep going, and I know that was the case with me. It's like, well, I'm good at this. This feels good to be good at something. I'm going to keep going with it.
Specifically to music instruction, what are the difficulties with remote learning?
They're completely missing that whole ensemble experience, that whole teamwork thing that I think many students love about band, that social thing of we're all working towards this goal in this moment, and how good does this feel when we all arrive there together? Or, you know, when we can learn together, oh, we messed up this note, let's learn it together kind of a thing. It's been an extraordinary challenge to check in with every single student on a regular basis and make sure that we're all progressing together. And if we're not, okay, then I'll take some steps back and adjust and give them what they need, because it's not normal times, and I can't really expect that we're going to skyrocket in progress like we usually do every year. Ready, breathe. What nice sounds. The low clarinet sound is such a rich, deep tone. I really like the low clarinet sounds. When they first came back, it's like, I don't quite know how to do the school rules yet. You know, all the safety stuff. That's what I noticed most. But that being said, they are getting back to, I feel like they are getting what I observe in the halls and what I have seen in my classroom. They're starting to get back to being more middle school students, more social, and kind of making do with wearing a mask, but we're still gonna, we're still gonna be social and those kind of things.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Fogarty, and I'm the band director at Lukansick Middle School. Welcome to our Lukansick Band Virtual Holiday Concert 2020.
I thought, well, you know what? I can figure this out based on what I had already done in WeVideo and et cetera, some things over the summer with my own personal stuff. So it was kind of just like a little bit of a challenge to myself, like, well, you know what? Just give the students an assignment. They're going to submit the videos, and you're going to have to do it. And to see that I could do it, and also I was hoping and thinking that it would turn out to be a nice product that parents would appreciate and enjoy, and that the students would too.
thank you for taking the time to view this showcase this evening, and thank you to Mr. Fogarty for agreeing to let us show the world just another amazing aspect of how we serve our students, and Mr. Blaney for your skill in putting that together. Thank you.
Spotlight, staff recognition. Joanne Borg. She's running out of days. While she's walking up, Mr. Grisafi is going to be discussing Joanne's tenure at the district, and when she retires, she will be missed. Somebody get the crying towel for Gary.
Good evening, everyone. Is this on? Yep. You can hear? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gary Grisafi, Assistant Superintendent for Administrative Services, and it is my distinct pleasure tonight to present the Spotlight of Valley View. What is a spotlight? One definition, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is something that illuminates brilliantly. This definition is truly befitting our next spotlight recipient, and for those who don't know Joanne Borg, let me fill you in. She has held the role of Director of Finance in Valley View for 30 years. In fact, in just 10 days, on the 29th, she will be celebrating her 30th year anniversary since she was hired as part of the Valley View family. Joanne also serves as the treasurer for our district, meaning she oversees the district's finances and prepares all of the financial reports provided to the Board of Education each and every month. As a former public finance auditor, and while conducting the district's annual audit, she was asked if she would be interested in coming back to work for Valley View. She accepted that job offer and has never looked back. And as a direct result, the district has always received a clean audit thanks to her leadership in this area. Joanne interacts with many different agencies throughout any given month, such as Teachers Retirement, Illinois Municipal Retirement Fund, the state of Illinois, the federal government, and many others too numerous to mention. Over the years, she has fostered longstanding relationships with many of our banks and other investment authorities. Her contributions to the district are vast. She has always looked out for the district's best interest and has a work ethic that is indescribable. She has the respect of anyone who works alongside her, and to top it off, she has a world-class smile that cannot be denied. I cannot think of a better, more deserving person to spotlight than the one and only Joanne Borg.
Congratulations. Thank you. Well deserving. Oh, let's get a picture first, and then you can.
I just want to say thank you. Now you all know my age. I can't believe time has flown. Time has absolutely flown, and this has been the best job any girl could get. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Illinois High School competitive cheer finals.
Tonight, we will be showcasing our coach and our team, our competitive cheer team, via a video spotlight. And like all of our staff, from Joanne Borg to Mr. Fogarty to Ms. Shannon Price, everyone has adapted, and our kids have as well. So this video will give you a glimpse just as to how hardworking, creative, and innovative our coaches and our students are, and they continue to grow, succeed, and excel because of their hard work and dedication. So I'm pleased to share this spotlight with you this evening.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would like to start off this evening by thanking the members of the board and senior administration for honoring the Bolingbrook Cheer Program this evening. We wouldn't have been able to achieve such an accomplishment if it were not for the support of our building administration, including Principal Dr. Pascavage and Assistant Principal for Athletics and Activities, Mr. Rob Rose. I'd also like to thank my assistant coaches, Ariel Stusloff and Stephanie Varner. When my baby boy decided to come 3 weeks early, smack dab in the middle of this impromptu 5-week cheer season, they stepped up and made sure things went on accordingly in my absence. I'd also like to send a huge thank you to Romeoville's head cheer coach, Chrissy Kinder, for supporting the Raiders and helping out at practice when I couldn't be there. The Raiders are so lucky to have her support. I know that all sports can say they had a very challenging year due to this pandemic, and cheer was no exception. The uncertainty of knowing if there would be a season, when that season would take place, what parts of our sport would still be included, and so many other unknowns that we couldn't even begin to prepare for was very challenging. However, unlike other sports, cheer and dance were actually given the green light to begin in November. We had our tryouts, we made our teams, and started choreography, only to have our season put on an indefinite pause 4 short days later. That was a tremendous challenge for cheer and dance teams across the state. Many programs continued to have their athletes meet virtually or at outside locations to partake in team tumbling classes, etc. Our cheer program, however, did not take that route. We really didn't believe that we'd be having a cheer season. We just thought we were waiting for the IHSA to make the announcement that it had been canceled. Most of our athletes went on to get jobs, second jobs, join all-star cheer programs, etc. So we stopped planning for a season that we were for sure was not going to happen. When we got the green light for a competitive season, many of our athletes were hesitant to come back. They didn't want to lose the jobs that they had just been working at for the last 2 months. Many of them were nervous that their bodies were going to be able to handle the standards that we were going to have to uphold them to still be competitive. They didn't think that they'd be able to stay on par after so long off. We had to figure out a way to work around their schedules with work, get back in shape, and still maintain our competitive edge. Coming into this year, last year, the Bolingbrook cheer team got 11th at state, just shy of making the top 10. So we had a name to uphold, and the athletes knew it, and they were scared to have to be able to live up to that standard. It was a challenge to say the least, but these athletes pulled it off. Every single one of them gave their entire all at practice, but the team above all else, knowing that we only had 5 weeks to get where we wanted to be. Our competitive season is normally 5.5 months long, so we knew it would be a challenge to do what we normally do in 5.5 months in 5 weeks. But they did it, and we are so proud of them and their placement at state. Top 15 out of over 60 co-ed teams in the state is a huge accomplishment, and we hope they are as proud of themselves as we are of them. Now, here to introduce themselves are the members of the 2021 state qualifying Bolingbrook cheer competition team.
Elijah Brutus, senior.
Haley Engelman, and a junior.
Elizabeth Flores, senior.
Katrina Gates, sophomore.
Kaya Guilford, sophomore.
Lauren Mitchell, sophomore.
Becca Pena, senior.
Emily Pena, senior.
Sydney Provo, senior.
Delaney Schaefer, junior. Faith Smith, junior.
Hannah Stoll, senior.
We coming for who? We coming for who? We coming for you. I don't dance now, I make money moves. Say I don't gotta dance, I make money move. If I see you and I don't speak, that means I don't mess with you. I'm a boss, you a worker punk. I make money moves.
It's not about redemption, it's about respect. I ain't got no tension, you are not a threat.
I woke up like this, I woke up like this. They flawless. Ladies, tell them I woke up like this. I woke up like this. They flawless. Ladies, know this ain't a game, yeah. They gon' know our name, yeah. Don't stop thinking about it, just until tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. Tick tock on the clock, on the party don't stop. Ladies, battle stations, ready, set, formation. Bring me your high on love. Bring me your high on love. Oh, bring me your high on love. 'Cause that high on love, I can take it now.
Fly as I can be, ain't got nothing on me. Look at me now, look at me now, oh. I'm getting paper, look at me now, oh. Look at me now, yeah. Freshen up, up. That's why I need a one dance, cause I'm sweet in my hand. One more time before I go, higher power's taking a hold on me. I need a one dance, cause I'm sweet in my hand. One more time before I go, higher power's taking a hold on me. BHS Raiders!
Well, at least keeps the meetings more spirited. I like that. Moving down the agenda, Mr. Gazafi, Treasurer's Report, please.
Treasurer's Action Report 6.1 is the usual and customary reports along with the interim obligation payments for the month of March, totaling $5,191,157.28 for your action.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none,
I
seeing
have a
none.
question.
Oh, go ahead.
That's okay. Gary, did we find out why the difference in the price of the natural gas between RHS and BHS, whether it was caused from them?
I do not have a definitive answer for you, Ms. Sikora. You had thankfully sent the question earlier. We did look at the usage for both high schools, and those seem on par with the past usages. The question that you had asked was why was the billing so different?
Right.
We believe that the BHS had used some storage, was applied to the billing, and therefore the billing was less, even though the usage was the same. And we're looking to confirm that with our energy provider. So as soon as I receive that, I'll let you know.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. If there's no further questions, a roll call vote would be in order.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Treasurer's Action Report 6.2 is the schedule of bills for the month of April. We've got 6 funds totaling $2,025,612.32 also for your action.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. A roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Treasurer's Information Report 6.3, Summary of Investments, 6.4, State Funding Update, and 6.5, All Schools Trust Account Activity are presented for information and any questions that you might have.
Any questions? School funding seems to be, or the state funding seems to be staying within that 30-day window, which is very nice.
Exactly.
Yep. Thank you very much, Gary. Consent agenda items.
Okay, there are 4 items underneath consent this evening. 7.1, board meeting minutes, March 22nd, 2021. 7.2, executive session meeting minutes, March 22nd, 2021. 7.3, gifts to Independence Elementary School, Beverly Scoff Elementary School, Bolingbrook High School, Romeoville High School, and the district via a library grant. And 7.4, intergovernmental agreement extension with New Lenox School District 122.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
And President Quigley?
Yes. Board liaison reports. Any and all from my left?
I attended 2 challenge committee meetings in the past couple weeks, and the committee is, this committee was just trying to figure out what the goals and the dreams were of the program, and they think we have that all kind of figured out, and so now they're going to move forward with a more in-depth study of our future of our challenge program. But it does look like next year we are going to have a pull-out program for 3rd grade. For 3rd grade only. 2nd grade is not having a challenge program per se, correct?
2nd grade would be provided enrichment.
Right.
They would be in a classroom and then also provided enrichment as well.
Yeah, and then 3rd grade is a pull-out program, and 4th and 5th grade will be the same.
Thank you. Any and all from my right? Just wanted to express, even though it's not really a board liaison position, we had an election a couple weeks ago. I want to congratulate Member Campbell, Member Sikora, and Mr. Zach and Mr. Leo Venegas for running for school board and getting elected. I also want to congratulate the 2 leaders of the communities that we represent, Mary Basta from Bolingbrook being elected and Mayor John Noak for being elected. It's not easy putting your name on a ballot, and once you decide to do it, it's not easy to run, but it's also nice to know that in the communities that we represent and the people that were elected, in my humble opinion, they run clean campaigns. They say what they want to do. They don't poke other people in the eye, or whatever you want to call it, and they do things the right way. And in my humble opinion, the people who were on the ballot for school board and for the municipal races, whether they won or lost, I believe most of those people ran for all the right reasons. And it is a pleasure to represent a community where people come together, and I just want to congratulate the folks who ran proper races. And I want to thank them for their time. I also want to thank Member Gilbo, who also ran, did not win, but we will honor her with a plaque or a clock and thank her for her service to the district. And again, putting your name on a ballot, it's one thing to know a lot of people and say you want to do a lot of things, but it's another thing to put your name out there and actually, see how many people actually will vote for you. So I want to thank everybody for their commitment to this community, and that's what really, in my humble opinion, makes Valley View what it is. While we're talking about things in this realm, I want to thank all the folks that showed up today for the ribbon cutting at Bolingbrook High School. The varsity baseball was playing Romeoville High School 2 years ago, and way beyond before that. 2 years ago, the varsity baseball team at Bolingbrook High School was only allowed to play 5 home games because the rain, in a timely fashion, kept the fields in a muddy enough condition that they couldn't play. So they had a lot of home games scheduled that they ended up playing in other people's fields. And through some combined efforts of members of this board and looking at some of the other fields that needed to be redone, we were able to turf the infields at the high schools for varsity sports, saved the district well over $700,000 by doing this in a combined fashion, and make these really nice first-class facilities for the community and for the kids that attend our schools. Extracurriculars are an important part of school life, and sports are a part of that for a lot of the kids. I personally, I have a son who plays baseball, and I was very excited for him to be out there. And today was a perfect example. The little bit of rain that we got, although it didn't accumulate too much, having turf infields made all of those teams be able to play today. I was also asked to throw out the first pitch, which was, kind of comical if you ask me, but, I did throw a strike, even though it was kind of a changeup instead of a fastball. But I want to thank all those that came out. We had several community members came out, and I just want to thank everybody and on this board that voted to move those facilities forward and help save the district a lot of money. And we do have first-class facilities in the buildings, out of the buildings. And you've heard me say this 100 times since I've been on this board. These facilities belong to the community. They're not just the school. We use these buildings for all kinds of different things. And there's, sports programs and church programs and art programs and all kinds of music things and everything that happens in our buildings pretty much 7 days a week. May not always happen at the same time, but there's always something going on. And the folks that take care of our facilities, managed by Mike and overseen by Gary, and the guys that sit on the committees and the funding that goes into all this, thank you. And, beyond that, we've all done the thank yous for the keeping the buildings clean and safe and what have you during this pandemic. There's always something going on, and we're always having to keep on top of these things. But we do have what I consider something we should, as a community, be very proud of in all of our buildings. And when we find that we're lacking in something, we do the best we can to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money and make sure that the money is spent in the right places. As we, a few years ago when we put solar panels on the roof, we waited until those roofs needed to be replaced. We were able to recapture several $100,000 on behalf of the district from the solar credits that we got. And it's just it's that kind of progressive thinking and forward looking into, planning on how we're going to do these things, when we're going to do these things, and maintaining these facilities to, in my opinion, the first-class facilities that we have and we will continue to have. So thank you on behalf of all the board members that were here then and those that voted for it now, and for those who look and make sure that they become good stewards of our facilities in the future. So thank you very much. Now, off my stump, audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to address the board this evening? Seeing none, moving down the agenda. Action reports. Ms. Kinder, we have board policies, if you would please.
Yes, as part of the normal process of policy review and revisions, we are presenting 12 policies for action this evening under the area of school board and 1 policy under the area of general school administration. These policies were presented for review at the March 22nd board meeting. They've been reviewed for updates with the Illinois Association of School Press Policy Service, as well as reviewed by our own legal counsel, and they're being presented for your approval this evening.
Motion?
So moved.
We have a second? Member Campbell, second. No discussion. All those in favor will vote in the affirmative.
Aye.
Aye.
What? What did he say?
Roll call vote, please. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
And President Quigley?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 10.2, we are seeking your approval on student due process cases A through C as presented.
As revised, yeah.
Apologize, as revised.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Administrative retirement contract.
Yes, this is timely in that we're recognizing Ms. Joanne Borg's years of service to the district, her 30 years of service as Director of Finance. This action item pertains to the potential retirement of Assistant Superintendent Grisafi, which he himself has dedicated 17 years of service so far to the district in ensuring a highest level of leadership and dedication, high standard, and ensuring the district meets its fiduciary duty to our community. And as we know, that is the most important role of the board, that you oversee that. Tonight, I am asking for your approval on a 1-year retirement contract for the upcoming school year. This would be for the 2022 school year. This would allow us to plan a time to transition, fill big shoes to fill for Mr. Grisafi, as well as ensure that we have a very seamless transition and settle very important business that will be outstanding next year in terms of collective bargaining agreements. Upon approval, if the board approves the contract as presented for this upcoming school year, Mr. Grisafi would then tender his letter of retirement that would be effective June 30th, 2022. So I truly believe that it is in the best interest of the district to ensure that we have an agreement in place, ensure that it is in the best interest of the district, both financially and for the short term, as well as for the long term. And so I'm seeking your approval this evening.
So moved.
Second. Motion and second. Is there any discussion? So for clarification purposes, Gary has agreed to work at half salary for coverage of his insurance over the next 5 years? Seven years. It saves the district money. It's a good thing for Gary and his family. It does show us our appreciation for Gary's dedicated and excellent financial stability that he's helped this district create. And Gary, I'm glad that you agreed to stick around for another year, and very much looking forward to the person that you might help us find to fill your shoes, because they know that, and if they don't know, they will know after they meet me one time that they have big shoes to fill. So thank you, and with no further comments or questions, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
And President Quigley?
I do think we should come up with a policy that has both of those people stay longer. Some kind of a board policy, don't you think?
I tried. The best I could get was one additional year, but at the will of the board, we can work on that.
Okay, thanks.
Moving down the agenda, graduation requirement exemptions.
Okay, this is item 10.4. This is temporary graduation requirement exemptions. This essentially is a formality to provide a small amount of latitude it's pertaining to a very small group of students. With the conditions of the pandemic and everything that we have gone through in the past school year, what I am essentially asking is that per board policy that is currently in place, that we have the latitude to issue a waiver for Valley View specific graduation requirement for those that are in excess of the Illinois State Board graduation requirements. So in simple terms, all Illinois State Board of Education graduation requirements must be met. In the instance, and it will be a rare occasion, it's a very small number of students that this could pertain to, we would have the latitude, myself or my designee, to waive a Valley View specific requirement. And it would be for the graduating class of 2021 only, and only in this limited circumstance. So essentially this is a formality with a slight modification to the implementation of this policy that I'm happy to discuss or answer any questions on and seek your approval this evening as we are deep into the process of ensuring that our seniors are on track and ready to graduate despite all of the curveballs that have been thrown their way.
Are there any questions of Ms. Kinder on this? We need a motion.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Member Perro, Member Campbell, or Campbell and Perro. I had one quick question. I know we don't have, like you said, very many kids you think will fall into this category. I mean, is it, folks, we have what, 1,600, what is it, 1,400 kids going to graduate in the next, something in that neighborhood?
About 1,200.
800 and something,
1,300.
and close to 600 and something?
Correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, are we talking about
I'm
20?
talking a very small amount of students, perhaps 10 to 15 students at most. And in, depending on the circumstance, it may be the waiver of like one course, which is like a 0.5 credit. And it's not any of the core requirements. Those are obviously required to be in place.
And that,
So
by
it's-
the way, students, that doesn't mean you get to slack off the next 6 weeks.
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
So it's Valley View, our board policy requires more for graduation than ISB does. And so it's those courses that you're going to be forgiving.
Essentially, let's just say a student was short a 0.5 fine art, for example, or a 0.5 elective credit, and they had to complete their English course because they needed to get their 4 English credits. That would be an example of a unique circumstance if we're unable to, through credit recovery and all of the other options that are available, that a waiver could be granted. Our students, certainly, it's very situational. It just allows it for this one unique circumstance and very limited case. And I think last check, both high schools said it was a very small number of students that this could even potentially be necessary for. But of course, we know this is anything but normal in terms of the past 2 years that these students have endured as juniors and seniors. But the vast majority of our kids are on track. And they will complete successfully, and we want to ensure that we help them to do so.
Thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. If there's no further discussion, roll call vote would be in order, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
And President Quigley.
Yes. Ms. White?
I have no reports at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gazafi, Site Improvement Project, BHS Transportation Center and Transportation Center.
Yes, at our March 22nd school board meeting, an information report was presented that identified large capital improvements for the upcoming summer and fall. At this time, we are requesting board approval for the following projects that were included in that capital improvements list. First off, Bolingbrook High School Site Improvements Phase 2. This would incorporate the south lot. This is the largest of the 3 phases, incorporating almost 252,000 square feet of pavement. Scope includes adding a right-in and right-out vehicle access point onto Schmidt Road, which is something the school has been asking for some time. The second component is transportation site improvements. This is phase 2 with also a 3-phase project, and includes the south half of the bus parking lot and the west driveway. Each site was bid separately in order to allow contractors the flexibility to offer a bid based on their capabilities and expertise. The bids were publicly bid and opened on April 9th. 4 bids were received for the BHS project and 7 bids were received for the transportation project. The lowest responsible bids were scope reviewed with the lowest responsible bidders and are presented accordingly. BHS parking lot improvements, Schroeder Asphalt Services out of Huntley, Illinois, base bid amount of $814,833. For the transportation parking lot improvements, Orange Crush out of Hillside, Illinois, $274,335. Based on the favorable bids received, we are recommending accepting these lowest bids for each of the 2 projects. They are scheduled to begin this summer and completed before the start of the school year and will be funded from the operations and maintenance budget. We are recommending, again, awarding a contract to Schroeder Asphalt and Orange Crush in those bids that were listed, and both contracts are subject to attorney review and approval.
Is there a motion? We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
And President Quigley.
Yes.
Similar to the prior action report as well, we presented these on March 22nd, Romeoville High School roof replacement, phase 1. This is the largest, relatively complex roof replacement for Romeoville High School. These roofs aged anywhere between 19 and 24 years old. We've had a lot of leaks over the past couple years that required numerous patches. And so in conjunction with our architect, took a look at what we could accomplish in one season. It's a relatively complex in that there are numerous roof penetrations, piping and mechanical equipment throughout that roof area that will need to be removed, replaced, and or eliminated in conjunction with the roof demolition and construction. This project incorporates over 116,000 square feet and will require multiple crews and extend construction throughout the summer, commencing immediately after graduation. The contract provides all necessary project and construction management and coordination of site activities associated with the project scope, includes payment and performance bonds, equipment, dumpsters, material staging, and anything else associated with the project. All demolition, new roofing work with a 60 mil EPDM roofing membrane. I did look up EPDM. It stands for ethylene, propylene, diene manomer. So EPDM, that is a very commonly used material for roofs, especially for such a large square footage. At this time, we are recommending that we award a contract to Midwest Mechanical Group. They've done a lot of work for us in the past with the Jamie McGee project, as well as the Romeoville Woodshop edition. Again, a recommendation awarding it to Midwest Mechanical in the bid amount of $3,199,864 to provide new roof replacement at Romeoville High, Phase 1, subject again to attorney review and approval.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any questions or comments? I have a quick question or just comment. Gary, it seems like I asked you, but maybe I didn't, or Mike. Speaking of the solar panel kind of stuff that we talked about, is there going to be space at some point if we do these other 2 phases for us to possibly put solar up on these roofs? Is this, this seems to be the desire of the, the clean and green world right now, that solar becomes a much bigger portion of the generation of electricity, not just here, but across the globe, but also in this space. And there's legislation in Springfield to enable some more of that stuff and so on and so forth. So will it be possible in this phase, or would it be more practical in the second phases because of all the mechanicals that are up on that first phase?
Yeah, I think we would be remiss to not explore that option. One of the single largest attributes for pursuing the 5-school solar panel installation was the value of the solar credits that were available at the time. And unfortunately, we probably will never see those credits in the amounts that they were available. But if they were, certainly that's something I think we would certainly want to jump on. But the programs and that technology, as you mentioned, continues to evolve and make itself available, and the programs continually present differently. I think there's many options, probably more so than when we initially put those panels on. And so again, I do think with the phased roof approach does provide us the opportunity to continue to explore those options.
That's great. That's great to know. And you're absolutely spot on about the technology is just, it's changing, every 6 or 16 months or 2 years, whatever. The solar panels seem to be becoming more efficient, a little longer, a little cheaper, all those types of things. So if there's opportunities to do that, it just makes sense. So much appreciated. Thank you, Mike. We have a motion and a second. A roll call vote would be in order.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
And President Quigley?
Yes. Ms. Nash, action report for Human Resources.
Thank you. This evening, Action Report 13.1 is our consolidated action report for certified and classified personnel. We are seeking your approval on 160 items for certified personnel, 112 items for classified personnel, 6 items for classified administrative personnel, and 3 items for certified administrative personnel.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Campbell?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. In that, what we just did, we have one of the new principals here this evening who will be joined. Come on down with your family, Ms. Tucker. Bring the family. Come on, kids. You got dressed up for something.
While Ms. Tucker is making her way down with her family, it is our pleasure to recommend her this evening for the principalship at John R. Tibbet Elementary School starting this July 1st. Ms. Tucker's been with the Valley View School District since 2007 when she was hired as the assistant principal at Tibbet Elementary School. And prior to her time in Valley View, she served as a classroom teacher, as an interventionist, and as a coach in both California and Illinois. Now, Ms. Tucker has received a number of accolades over the years, but I think probably one of the ones that I think she would consider to be the most special is that by the interview team that she was described as not just organized and supportive, but she was credited by the staff as a driving force of their family-like atmosphere at Tibbet. So I think that speaks for itself in terms of her ability to take on this role. So Ms. Tucker, the microphone is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me? All right. Good evening, Valley View community. I'm Amanda Tucker, the newly appointed principal of Tibbet Elementary School. Woohoo! Thank you. First and foremost, I would like to thank the members of the school board, senior leadership, and Superintendent Kinner for this great opportunity. In addition, I would like to say thank you to my family that is here, and they have been always my biggest cheerleaders. Last, I would like to thank Anna Wilson, who's also in the crowd tonight. She's the current principal of Tibbet. She has spent the last 17 years leading our school. For 14 of those years, I have been lucky enough to lead with her, learn from her, and work alongside her to promote change. As she enters into retirement, she will be dearly missed. So thank you, Anna. I am thankful to lead such a vibrant school that offers opportunity, safety, and belonging to all students. Tibbet is a place where staff, students, and family feel like they matter. Tibbet is a place where relationships are strong. Tibbet is a place where all hands are on deck without even asking. Tibbet is a place where we will continue to work hard to provide equity while focusing on partnerships and continuous improvement. Tibbet Tigers at home, I want you to know that I will do whatever it takes to help you succeed. I am here for you, and I am here for your families too. As your leader, Tibbet will continue to be a place that offers the best opportunities to students so that they become confident, thoughtful young people ready to take on the world.
I am so excited to be your next principal. Thank you.
Principal Tucker. Wait, don't go away yet. Oh, you got to introduce your family.
Oh, okay.
The little guy got all dressed up and he's just sitting there.
Good.
Tell
That
him
was
to
a
look
big
this way
deal.
so we can see him on the screen. There you go.
Yes, he wanted to wear all Under Armour, but I made him put on some real pants and a shirt. This is Jake. He is in 1st grade. Lauren is in 4th grade. And my husband is actually, this is Larry, my husband. He is a principal. He is a principal as well in Joliet. So now my kids have 2 principals as parents, which I apologize for, but it'll all be okay.
You guys got to walk the straight and narrow.
Yes, they do. Right, guys?
Thank you for that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Moving down the agenda, Every Learner Together. And hopefully in a few months, we won't be doing these.
Well,
as
I think
much.
I'll continue to give updates, but hopefully it's on other topics other than this.
Exactly.
And we'll continue to grow and evolve. All right, so in this week's update, I'll just briefly touch upon some of the typical topics with our current status and health metrics, health and safety updates, planning, as well as communication and timeline moving forward. So we were very excited to begin last week having hybrid learners come in 4 full days a week. Tomorrow, we're welcoming back another group. And I could not even describe how smooth it went, thank you to the efforts of our staff throughout the entire district. And our kids just truly adapted once again, right along with our staff. So it was incredible to have the energy, to have the positivity, and I'm just so grateful to our staff, our students, and our families that we just continue to take a next step together, evolve together, and we're doing it well. So now, including this week, we have 7 weeks to go till the end of the school year, and so I will say and continue to say that it's time to finish strong. Give it all we got to finish the year strong and come back even stronger together in the fall. So as I mentioned, we have our hybrid learners on site. Our Mondays are remaining remote and early release. Our remote learners are continuing to plug along at home, and our remote staff supporting them are doing the same. And it has been a long haul. It has been a long haul for sure, but they are continuing to do their best every single day. Tomorrow's the big day for our 7th and 8th grade students, so hopefully they're getting ready for bed right now at home and get a good night's sleep, as well as our high school, our 10th and 11th graders to join our freshmen and seniors who are already back 4 days. And then we'll have all of our hybrid kids on site for full days. So this is giving us an opportunity to have more students on site, although not at 100% capacity. We're learning a lot about every aspect of health and safety, every aspect about instructional changes and modifications, and ensuring that we are doing it with health and safety at the forefront. We're continuing to monitor the health metrics in the community, as well as the county and the region, and we see what's happening statewide as well. We know that for some time that monitoring of the community metrics is going to be essential. At moderate levels, at minimal levels, we are going to be able to do just fine with the mitigation strategies we have in place. But we do know that at a certain point, that becomes harder and harder as community levels rise and transmission increases. So it really, truly is an all-in effort, not just inside of our Valley View bubble, but in the larger community as well. We have seen some metrics rising in the county, and we have seen an increase, kind of a slight decrease, and then a little bit of a climb again in our local zip code metrics. So what this means is as those positivity rate is higher in the community, there's more likely going to be cases that we have to ensure that we're monitoring symptoms, screening, and doing everything possible to mitigate and lower risk. What we have shown, based on the cases that we have, and having 0 to no known transmission of cases inside of the district, that with our safety strategies in place at moderate levels of community positivity, we can maintain a safe and healthy environment for our kids to learn and for our staff to support our kids. So I'm grateful that everyone is continuing to put a high level of importance and vigilance on putting health and safety measures in place. An area I do want to mention that we are monitoring is quarantining, the number of students who are being required to quarantine from exposure either outside of the district or from a positive case from a classmate or a teammate on a sports team. And if you've noticed, some other school districts have started to talk about this a lot, because at a certain point, there will be an increase in the number of students quarantining, and that will impact our ability to stay open. I have heard of some districts already having to take a pause, and I certainly do not want to be in that position. So it's truly important that we stay very vigilant with our symptom monitoring, with our quarantining, and all of the efforts to ensure that we keep risk as low as possible. I've mentioned this before, and I'll show this again. It is about layering mitigation strategies to decrease the risk. There's going to be positive cases. We know that. We know that the future is uncertain in terms of how the variants may change. We are seeing more cases of variants and the strains that are showing. We don't know what will happen with that or how it will impact different populations. But what we do know is that these 5 strategies, from masking, distancing, contact tracing, cleaning and disinfection, as well as personal health and hygiene, are critical efforts to keep going forth with no matter what is going on around us. The health reminders will remain, and I will continue to emphasize these, as I know our staff are as well, and we need the partnership with our families to continue to remain very strong, and ensuring that we're being very vigilant and working together as partners if symptoms do arise, or if exposure is known, or if you have contact with a known positive case. I had previously shared a lot about our in-district community vaccination, as well as the high rate of vaccination amongst our Valley View staff, and that is extremely positive news. We're seeing the percentage of vaccination of those immunized across the state in our immediate area starting to increase as well. We see our village partners holding clinics for the residents of Bolingbrook and Romeoville and other community sites through Will County. And we encourage our community, our larger community, to take advantage of these opportunities to schedule appointments, to get vaccinated, because those efforts collectively help us as a district in keeping our staff and our students safe as possible, and in turn keeping our families as safe as possible. So I have some links that are linked in on here. We will also post these on our website and ensure that you spread the word. I know that appointments were difficult to get for a good stretch of time, but there is availability opening up. So we do encourage our larger community to take advantage of these opportunities. I have some exciting news to share in terms of a testing pilot program with the saliva-based screening, Shield, Illinois. This is a partnership with the Illinois State Board of Education, the Governor's Office, and the Illinois Department of Public Health. And they are planning to pilot the Shield test in a number of high schools in Illinois. You may be familiar with the University of Illinois campus and many college campuses and many K-12 campuses as well, starting to use or continuing their use of a saliva-based test as a screening tool. This is another tool that allows you to identify asymptomatic individuals who may be carrying the virus, who then could spread it to others, whether vaccinated or not. And the whole idea around this is that through identification, early identification of those individuals, you can quarantine and limit any exposure to other people, thus reducing risk at a greater level for our staff and students. You see this on college campuses now. You see this a lot in sports programs. And this pilot, essentially Bolingbrook High School was identified, and we were able to add Romeoville High School. So we've engaged in many conversations with Shield, University of Illinois, and the collections partner to talk through what this pilot program could look like in the spring and summer and going into the fall at our high school campuses. So this is an exciting opportunity that we're currently exploring through many planning conversations, through learning from other districts who have this in place. It's even more exciting that it's no cost to the district to participate, and then also that staff would be provided to administer, collect the samples, and transport the samples to the lab. And then we would get the turnaround and the results very shortly thereafter, and then that would allow us to initiate contact tracing for any known positives. We are currently talking about what that weekly testing would be in place for staff or students at the high schools, and consent would of course be required. So We will have more information to share with our community about this, but I wanted to mention this to you now. This is another tool, in addition to the testing that we're doing for symptomatic individuals, that would give us the best chance possible to not only keep our schools open, but keep our schools open despite what's going on in the community around us. And that's very exciting to me. Sports, as we know, close contact presents a higher risk. So we have had situations where one positive case because of close contact has caused an entire team to be quarantined. Even currently, we have that in place. So the kids have a lot of contacts throughout the day, from the bus, through their school schedule, through sports and activities. And so this would be another tool in our ability to ensure that we are lowering the risk as much as possible. So at this point, we do not have an official start date. Our school leaders are learning a lot on top of an already full plate. They are asking a lot of questions and thinking through a lot of the variables with a program like this and what this could look like to give us this opportunity to experience it and see what this might look like at a larger scale, practice, learn a lot throughout the summer, and have this in place in the fall. So I will pause here. I'm certainly not an expert. I'm learning along with them and my colleagues, but if the board has questions or would like to comment, please do. And myself, Assistant Superintendent White, Mary Worster, Executive Director of Student Services, will do our best to answer questions or get a follow-up for you.
So on the Shield, does anybody have any questions on any of this? But on the Shield, I know we've talked extensively about this, but the cost of administering one of these tests is somewhere upwards of $25 per test. It might even be as close to $30. So to be able to do this at no cost in the test program kind of makes some sense. I know my son and Zach's son both play college baseball, and they've had to take this test to participate in NCAA athletics, and it's a spit test. And sometimes you can spit, you're talking about spitting something the size of a shot glass, essentially, or maybe a little bigger than that. And sometimes you can do it in a couple minutes, sometimes it takes longer. This depends on the person and the day, but apparently it's working very well at the University of Illinois, and for the opportunity to expand this to our program and be a test district, I don't know whose idea it was, if they reached out to us or reach out to them, but appreciate the opportunity, and then as we check into the details later. But the price is right, as they say. So, and if it does some protections for students and staff, athletes, non-athletes, whatever it is, it makes some sense to try and, again, mitigate, because one kid being, we've all, how much of this have you seen and read, 2 weeks ago, I got the Johnson & Johnson test because I waited, I thought that's going to be the one, and 2 days later they said, well, you're probably going to drop dead from a blood clot. Well, I'm still here. So anything we can do to help mitigate these things is fantastic, and I appreciate the efforts on whoever's responsible for that. So thank you. Anybody else have any questions or comments on this?
Okay. Okay, so we will be sharing more information in the high schools as they work through the planning. We'll have information to share with staff and our families and students as well.
Thank you very much.
Just a couple last things as I wrap up. I'm going to continue to share this. We have this information posted online. We have had individuals who have benefited from this Care Solace, which is a care concierge, which is a resource, a very rich and valuable resource to connect individuals with support for mental health and wellness. And so we will continue to share this website and phone number for our families, our students, and our staff. It is critically important. We all know this has been an ultra marathon of stress and change and different hardships that families and individuals have endured. So please share this with someone you know. If you know of a Valley View family, student, staff member, family of a staff member that's in need of support, it's a great service. Assistant Superintendent White's going to make a few brief comments about summer learning, and then we will wrap up.
Thank you, Superintendent Kender. We are so excited to offer summer learning this summer. We know with the year that our students have had, this in-person learning is going to be an opportunity for them to have academics, social connection, camp activities. And again, we really are excited. So we have several options available. We are going to have 2 sessions. The first session is going to be from June 7th to July 2nd. And within this session, parents will have 3 options. The first option will be for students to attend Valley View summer learning, academics from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. Option B will be for families to attend morning care, drop off at 7 o'clock if need be. And again, Valley View academics from 9 to 12. Option C will be for families to, if they need camp and academics from 7 o'clock to 6 p.m. in the evening. Again, an opportunity to drop off in the morning, have academics, and then have camp activities in the afternoon. This is free to all of our Valley View families and students. And again, we are excited. Registration, as you can see, there's a link at the very bottom there. This website will be going live and opening tomorrow. Flyers will be going home for students and our families. And we hope that everyone in our community takes advantage of this opportunity. Any questions about summer learning?
Yeah. Is there a limit? Like, is there a limit of number of students that can participate?
So, of course, due to COVID mitigations here that we must follow, there will be capacities for certain sites. However, we are opening it up to all, and we will continue to add sites based on the response. Basically, we can have up to 350 children at each site, and we're open. So
are the sites our schools?
Yes, our sites are our schools, yes. So far, we've identified 6 sites, but again, we'll be identifying more based on families' response and students' enrollment.
And so do we have to have district personnel there, or is that
Yes.
all the adult leadership is from the
yes,
YMCA?
this opportunity is in partnership with the CW Avery YMCA. So therefore, we're going to have, as you all approved those job responsibilities, I believe in March at our last board meeting. So we're going to have Valley View summer coordinators. We're going to have some Valley View teachers involved in this partnership. We're going to have Y coordinators involved, and we're going to have Y teachers as well. So this is definitely a partnership, fantastic opportunity to collaborate, and we hope that this becomes long-term in the future for our families and our students.
Is there an age requirement?
So we are offering elementary and middle school, so this is K through 8. So currently, K through 5 students will attend elementary, and 6 through 8 currently enrolled students will attend middle school. Yeah. So we'll be adding some links. Everything's going to be on our website. Again, the flyer, links, and how to register. And we also will be having some nights for families to support them in registering for our students in the future. So, coming up.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will continue to update you on our fall planning efforts. As I've mentioned previously, we are setting the target to have our students full-time in person in the fall. So as you can see, we are working through the process of staffing and posting additional positions to support the optimal class size, as well as adding additional layers of support for intervention and other types of support for our learners. And we're working through that process. With the number of students that we have on site now, we're able to now operate at that next level and have our site set for fall. So we're learning a lot on how to adapt once again to meet the current demands, and then operate at an even higher level come fall. So information will be coming forward. We will be going through a process of collecting feedback from all of our stakeholder groups, and then using that to refine our fall planning efforts. So families and staff will soon, in the next couple weeks, be receiving an opportunity to give input, and then we will use that voice and those individuals to help in refining fall planning efforts, and I'll be bringing updates as they develop. So in closing, our communication will continue. Our schools are the go-to for communication. We'll have our regular updates at the next board meeting on May 10th. and we will continue to do what we do in Valley View, and that's work together for our kids and figure it out no matter what the circumstances are, and adapt and grow together. So that's all I have for this evening in our quest to finish the year strong in this final 7 weeks. Here are a few key dates that we'll be sharing for our staff and our families and our students as we wrap up the year. Some celebrations and get ready to finish strong, have a solid summer, and get ready to come back stronger in the fall. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Ms. Nash, I believe.
Yep,
Job
that's me.
descriptions.
Yes, information report 14.2 are job descriptions that we are seeking for your review, or bringing to you for review this evening. There are currently 8 job descriptions that we are bringing forward. 5 of them are new job descriptions, 3 are amended job descriptions, and we will be seeking your approval of those at our next full board meeting.
I would encourage board members to take a look at those job descriptions, and if you have any questions, contact Ms. Nash or Ms. Kinder. I'm sure they can provide you detailed information on the who, what, and why. Next down the list, what you all came for, the legal services report.
I have no formal report.
That's fantastic. Association report, AFT, apparently no report. Valley View Council report. No one here from Valley View Council, so no report. Valley View Office Personnel Council report. Again, no one here. Any old business before the board this evening? Seeing none, hearing none, moving down the agenda. Any new business before the board this evening? Same thing, seeing none, hearing none. FOIA Information Act requests are posted on our website per state statute. Any questions from the public on actions we have taken this evening? Again, seeing none, hearing none, moving down the agenda. Any announcements by the board? From my right, from my left. I will make one comment. We will be reorganizing the board post the election certification on the 28th, which is a Wednesday, and Shelley at 6 o'clock, is that correct? So we will be gathering at 6 p.m. to reorganize the board per state statute and Illinois State Board of Education by guidelines and bylaws. And we will not be conducting any other business unless something emergency comes up in that period of time, correct? Everybody down there is nodding their head, so that's correct. All right, any announcements by the administration? Seeing none, hearing none, moving down. Any announcements by the public? A motion to adjourn the meeting would be in order. We have a motion. We have a second. All those in favor would say aye. Come on, say aye. Be enthusiastic. Aye. There we go. Post same sign. The ayes have it. Have a safe evening. And thank you all for your participation.